Welcome to the next installment of my video lecture series for managerial economics here at Rutgers University in Camden. And in this particular video lecture, I'm going to cover Chapter 2, Demand and Supply. In particular, I will give you a question that's very similar to text question 5.6. And in that, you are given a demand function for beer where Q is equal to 124 minus 20p plus 5p sub W plus 0.01y, where P is the price of beer, P sub W is the price of wine, and Y is average income. You're also given the supply function for beer, which is Q equals 54 plus 15P minus 3.5 pH, where P again is the price of beer and pH is the price of hops. Additionally, you are given the price of wine, $7, the average income, which is equal to $3,500, and the price of hops, which is equal to $10. And you're charged with finding the equilibrium price and quantity given this information. So all you need to do is to place the information about the price of wine and the price of income in your demand function, and that you can get a reduced form demand function from that. So you can see here we place 7 in for PW and 3,500 in for Y. We multiplied that through, getting 35 for the product of 5 and 7, and 35 for the product of 0.01 and 3,500. We simplify that and we get the demand function is equal to Q equals 194 minus 20p when the price of wine is equal to 7 and your income, and the average income is equal to 3,500. So we've got a reduced form of the demand function, and we need to do the same thing for the supply function. So there's the original supply function, and we know that the price of hops is equal to 10, so we can place that in for pH, giving us this, multiply that out, and we end up that the quantity supplied is equal to 19 plus 15p. So we have our demand and supply functions, and we know that equilibrium occurs when supply and demand are equal to one another. So we just set those reduced form supply and demand functions equal to one another, giving us 19 plus 15p equals 194 minus 20p. All right, we simplify and solve for p, and we end up getting that p is equal to 5. Then we can place that 5 back into here. We have the demand function. So we place 5 in for P. So we get 194. Q is equal to 194 minus 100. And the equilibrium quantity is equal to 94. I would also recommend that you place the P back into the supply function as well. If you do that, you will get 19 plus 15 times 75. 15 times 5. So you get 19 plus 75, which is also equal to 94. It's a nice way to check your work that when you solve for P, place it into the demand function and the supply function, you should get the same answer. If you don't get the same answer, in all likelihood, you solve for P incorrectly. So that's a nice little check for you. So the initial starting equilibrium in this market is a price of 5 and a quantity of 94. The second half of the question is, now we're going to assume that there's a 1 per unit tax and it is being placed on the demander. So there was our original equilibrium situation. And the thing that oftentimes confuses students here is what to do with the 1. So you have to realize that this is going to impact the price, and now this is going to be P plus the tax, or P plus 1. So you make sure you place that and you alter the demand function because you're impacting the demander. And then you realize that the price is now going to be P plus 1, or it's P plus the tax. So it's P plus the tax, P plus 1. So we insert here, instead of P, we have P plus 1. We multiply that 20 through, and we get that 19 plus 5p is now equal to 174 minus 20p. We solve for P, and we get a P equal to, and I rounded this to 4.43. We place that P back into the supply function, or we can place it back into the new demand function. All right, so we place the price of $4.43 back into the supply function. We get that. We multiply that through, so we get 19. We get Q is equal to 19 plus 66.45, and we get a new Q is equal to 85.45. So make sure you remember that working through. The part that students often get confused with is this part. So if the tax is being placed on the demander, you have to change the demand function, and the demand function now becomes P plus the tax. So this is, in our example, it is P plus 1, and then you multiply whatever coefficient was in front of P previously through, and then you resolve for a new demand function. And then you set them equal to one another, quantity supplied with the new quantity demanded, and you get the new equilibrium price. You place that price back into the supply curve, and that gives you your new equilibrium quantity.